Hello everyone. I've been away for a little while, so I haven't been able to upload any videos. I've got a few videos that I've made, so I'll try and get them uploaded. Um, it I guess I want to talk about something that frustrates me. It's people come into this lifestyle, raw vegan diet, and it just frustrates me that they've still got the wrong mindset towards it and the wrong way of looking at things, and depresses me a little bit. So I I did a 4 months where I ate nothing but mangoes this year when I was over in Thailand. The amount of people that who are sort of raw vegan or whatever, who when I've told them about this or we spoke about this, that they're like, but weren't you afraid of getting deficient? Weren't you gonna get deficiencies? Didn't you take supplements? No, I took no supplements. Of course I didn't take any supplements. Firstly, I don't take supplements. It's a stupid idea. Um, Supplements are bullshit and don't don't help with anything. And if you're taking them because you need a little comfort blanket and you think that they provide something that your food doesn't, then you're wrong about that. Um, Now, if you've been medically diagnosed with something, you've been told to take a particular supplement or whatever, then maybe that's different, but that's rarely the case. And usually, supplementing isn't often what helps with people when it comes to deficiencies, and because very rarely does a person not have enough of that particular nutrient in their diet. And maybe you bring up vitamin B12 as an idea and the vegan thing. I'm really still a little skeptical about B12. And I've seen people talk about this and people bring up the research and all that. It's just that when you've been in this movement for 9 or 10 years and you've met so many people that don't supplement or haven't supplemented for years, decades, and have never had any symptom of B12 deficiency, you kind of start to relax. Now, I know a lot of you haven't been doing this for long, or you've been doing it for a while, but you've never met anyone else because you don't come to any of these events and meet people and things. And some people have, you know, a kind of unbalanced view on this particular issue where they just think, well, you've read something in a book from 300 years ago and you think, well, that's enough for you. But I don't look at it like that. But I just think that there's so many people that come into this that immediately are like, deficiency, deficiency. Where's the deficiency? I'm gonna get deficient. Where's the and it's bullshit. It's nonsense. And here's the right mindset when people talk about deficiency and all this crap. And it's so crazy to me when I see people eating like super high, like loading, super loading with greens and green juice and this bullshit. Food isn't. That's not how you eat food. You eat food in an enjoyable way. You don't eat it for medicinal purposes or to super load you full of and all those green powders, and it's all nonsense, right? I'm telling you, I'm absolutely right about this. They don't do any benefit to anyone, and the supplements don't, and that's been proved over and over and over again. But it doesn't stop supplements from selling because people like the shortcut to health. And people like the placebo effect as well. And the placebo effect is real and it works. Makes people feel better about themselves, maybe, or whatever. But um, it's not the right way to approach the raw vegan diet. Uh, so, yeah, I guess that all annoys me. But as for raw vegan saying, well, weren't you afraid of deficiency eating just fruit or whatever? Absolutely not. because people in this world eat a diet that kills them, and they still live often into their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s on that diet. Not many people live that long. Very few of them live that long without disability, without their health being majorly um, damaged in huge ways, without their fitness, their potential for life, their potential for doing things being compromised, without their brain, their ability to think being compromised. Like, so there's people that live a long time, and none of these people are getting deficiencies. I mean, technically you could say that they become diseased and damaged and stuff because they don't eat enough fruit and vegetables. But that's not really a deficiency. But they're not getting deficiencies despite the fact their diet is so terrible, so poor, so lacking in nutrition that we need to stay healthy. Despite all of that fact, they don't get deficiencies because it's super hard to get deficiencies if you've got the amount of variety of food that we've got. And if you've got like any amount of fruits and vegetables in your diet, it's very hard to get deficient, and especially with vitamins and things like that. If you eat a diet exclusive of fruit and vegetables, how are you getting a deficiency? Like, where are you coming from with this weird idea? And just, it, I get other people talking about it, but people who are raw vegan, you've not got a chance of doing this diet long term if that's the way you think. You're definitely going to go back to poor habits if you really believe that fruit is doesn't have enough nutrients for us, doesn't have the nutrients that we require. So, and especially like living on I think you could live on any one fruit for years. I don't know if you would ever experience deficiency. Now, whether it would be the right thing to do that, whether you would feel the best doing that, whether that's a good lifestyle or mindset to have, like to just be focused on one food, I think you could do it. And I think your health would be much better than everyone else. Now, that's just my thought, that's just my hypothesis. But based on the fact that people eat terrible diets and get away with it. Now, there are people that also eat very restricted diets of one type of thing, and they get away with it as well. So you're trying to tell me that the raw vegan diet is worse than a guy that eats just macaroni cheese from a packet, which there is people that do stuff like that, and that's all they eat. That's all they eat because they've got a mental disorder, basically, an emotional mental disorder surrounding food. So they eat one type of food alone for years and years. And they don't get deficiencies. Now, they're not healthy, but they're not getting deficiencies. In fact, some of them are probably healthier than the average person. So I'm not worried at all about eating only mangoes. But weren't you worried about getting deficient? No. Why would you get worried about that? And what deficiencies? And I have to explain this to people over and over because dummies in the raw vegan movement spread this idea. And people that have an agenda, have weird agendas around their services they offer and stuff. They want to tell people, they want to be seen as like some kind of doctor, you know, that's solving people's problems by giving them supplements. So, unfortunately, that's a problem. We have people in this movement who all they want to talk about is deficiencies. Because it gets a bit of an audience when you do talk about that nonsense. When you're like me, a lot of you will hear this and be like, that can't be right. I'm going to go and listen to someone else. I'm going to listen to the person that's selling me supplements. You know, so I don't know if you can do that, but That's all it is. It's just a marketing process for a particular product. Nothing wrong with the marketing, but if the product is not required, you should know that. It's before you spend money on it. So, um, I don't know. I bring up this topic all the time because I have to keep on answering this question all the time. Supplements are not making anyone healthier. They don't make an improvement to your diet. They're not better for you than eating food. They don't give you more nutrients. You can't force more nutrients into your body. Please stop thinking your body's stupid. Please stop thinking you are smarter than your body. You are not smarter than your body, which is trillions of cells or whatever it is, whatever huge number, working together in harmony to try and keep you healthy every day. Oh, but you're going to force more nutrition in because you know it's better for your body than your body knows. You're going to force that, pack that nutrition. I'm going to take in I'm going to overdose on nutrients. You can't overdose on nutrients. You think your body's going to let you do that? You know, doesn't matter how many green juices you drink. You're going to get the exact same amount of nutrients because your body's not going to let in this massive excess. Your body's going to control all that. It'll keep everything within a particular range, a controlled range. So, firstly, that's the problem. People don't respect the intelligence of the body, and that's seen in all sorts of things in our culture. Breath work. I'm going to do breath work. I'm going to oxygenate my blood. You've got a respiratory system that works perfectly with this environment that we live in, that has been adapted over tens of millions, hundreds of millions of years, but it's obviously wrong and bad, and you're going to sit and do breath work and force more oxygen in. You can't do that. It's silly. There's a restriction. It's controlled the amount of oxygen that gets into your blood so that you don't get too much oxygen into your blood, which is as much of a problem as too little. You know, and a lot of the breathwork stuff that people do is this high speed, hyperventilating, breathing out thing that all it does is raises CO2. And the reason they get high is that the brain starts to restrict the amount of blood that gets into the brain because there's too much CO2 in the blood. And you don't want to damage the brain, so it starts to restrict, and that makes people feel a little bit high. But you should just allow yourself to breathe. Like maybe people are breathing incorrectly, probably because they grow up on milk and stuff that blocks their nose, and they learn to breathe through their mouth because of that, and that's a bit of a problem, and people are tense, and yeah, so improving how you breathe maybe, but breath work to force more oxygen, like these things don't really work. And then jumping into cold water to like stimulate your body, drinking water with lemon in the morning to stimulate the digestive system, like none of these things need to be stimulated. You know, none of them. They're doing fine. They're not lazy. They might not. Your body might not be ready to digest first thing in the morning, but you don't stimulate it by having water with lemon juice. You don't stimulate your blood flow or whatever by jumping into cold water. If you want to do that for something reason, you know, do it. But there's a fundamental lack of respect for the body because we've been taught that you need to take all these medicines and do all this stuff to the body. People just don't leave their body alone. Like they attack their body. They draw on their body. They put permanent scars on their body. They put hoops and rings of metal, pierce it through their body. Some people do really extreme body modification. Some people think that getting old is wrong, and they, you know, have facelifts and cut into their body and stretch their body, and some people think their whole gender is wrong and they cut parts off of their body, and it's all horrible. It's all a horrible relationship that people have developed with their body. Complete lack of respect. Complete lack of any, like, it's not your body's fault that you're messed up. Do you know what I mean? It's not your body's fault that you think You'll be a better person if you have a facelift or something. So, and I'm not really that against cosmetic surgery. Like, I think I think it's a bit of a silly thing, but I think I get it for people who are like extremely different looking or have had an accident. I totally get it. But people who are like good looking people getting a facelift to try and get more good looking, it's like silly. People that have a nice face, a nice nose, trying to make their nose a little bit smaller. I hate stuff like that. It's like you've got a nice nose, stop. Like Michael Jackson being an extreme example, right? But uh, I don't know, people. I'm just ranting a little bit, but this is what it comes down to, like the not respecting the body. I think that's what it comes down to, and I'm sad about that. I'm sad about people not respecting the body. Um, I'm always trying to develop a better relationship with my body. That's to me, that's what the raw vegan lifestyle is about. Respecting it, giving it what it needs, and letting it do its job, and not trying to force. And people are always trying to tell you things. Reoxygenate your blood by doing this breathing. Do this technique. Do that thing. Do that. I mean, I think there's some great things. Exercise being a great example of something you can do for your body. It clearly improves, your fitness and improves your life in that way. Um, but I don't know, supplements, all the kind of magic pills and potions, I don't believe in. I believe in this diet. Now let's talk about deficiencies just really quickly before I end this video. I know it's getting a bit long, but um, let me talk. So the history of deficiencies. We have a fear about deficiencies coming into raw vegan diet. We have an assumption that there's something deficient. You need to get rid of that assumption. You need to get rid of these ideas. And at a recent event, someone that's been a raw vegan for a fairly short period of time was teaching us all about B12 deficiency. Like, we get it. We know. You know what I mean? We know that raw vegans and vegans have a lower B12 level. We know that. Um, we get it. We don't really need to be told that. But this is different from B12 deficiency. This is a different situation than B12 deficiency, which comes with a particular set of symptoms such as nerve damage. Like, it's not something that you wouldn't notice. Um, but people want to focus on deficiency stuff. Why? Why? Just because of natural fear, but also because it's what's been marketed to us over the years. It's what's been marketed to you. And it bamboozles me that people think, lots of vegans think, oh, I'm deficient, I've not eaten animal products. What the hell do you think's in animal products that you can't get in everything else? In a much better. Oh, you mean apart from high levels of cholesterol and saturated fat that cause all of the diseases that people have? High levels of salt in the processed animal foods, carcinogenic compounds that happen when you cook them. Like, what are you thinking is in these things that is better for you? Oh, it's got loads of protein. And like, it's got pig protein, cow protein. We need to break that down into amino acids in order to even use it as protein. We need to expend energy to actually use it as protein. It's an inefficient process. You're better off using the amino acids from the foods that we're designed to eat, which is fruit primarily, and fruits and vegetables. But the history of deficiencies have all been places and communities and cultures where people did not have access to fruit and vegetables, but particularly fruit. The Global Burden of Disease study recently said that the highest risk factor causing disease in the US was not eating enough fruit. Number one, not eating enough vegetables. Number two, these are the two things more than anything else. They didn't say anything about supplementation or taking vitamin pills or taking herbs. Fruit like bananas, apples, oranges, plums, pears, nectarines, peaches, pineapples, not pills and potions and herbs, because all that is nonsense compared to eating food, you know. So I get frustrated about this stuff, right? Because like trying it, this is the only way you'll get someone to stick on this diet long term is if they fully accept this. They have to fully accept this. If you still have these, I'm telling you, the people that are long term raw vegan are not guzzling supplements. They don't even think about that idea. The long term, the 20 years, people, the 15 years, 20 years. No, actually, I would say I'm wrong about that. There are some that have been doing raw vegan diet long term that are taking supplements and stuff, but the ones that I respect, so the ones that I uh, learn from and like and everything, they don't see any need to do that, you know. So, the history of deficiencies have all been vitamin deficiencies based on not having enough fruit in the diet. That's the ironic thing about this. Scurvy, pellagra, beriberi, starch-based and animal product cultures and diets. They ate starch-based animal product diets. They didn't have fruit. Night blindness, a lack of beta carotene. Where'd you get beta carotene? Hmm. Where'd you get carrot in? Where'd you get carrot in from? Could it be from carrots? Yeah, but beta carotene comes from fruits and vegetables. So cultures that live on grains, that don't have a lot of food, that live on a very small amount of grains, for example, um, have these problems. They eat animal products and grains, and that's all they have access to. They get deficient. That's why most people have consume fortified foods in this country. Fortified foods. Without that, loads of these deficiencies would be prevalent across our society. So you might say to me, well, Ronnie, you said that supplements don't make any difference. Well, in the situation of if you're not eating fruits and vegetables and you're eating a terrible diet, does fortifying the diet help? Probably it does. I'm not actually 100% sure on that, but I'm guessing that's why they do it. I'm guessing that's why you look at the side of your cornflakes packet and it'll show a list of 5 or 6 vitamins and minerals they add to it. On the side of the cornflakes packet, on the side of various processed foods. So it's always a lack of fruits and vegetables, but fruit primarily. So you need to get these fears out of your mind that you come to this lifestyle and you need to be concerned about deficiencies. The one thing you need to be concerned about is eating enough fruit. Eating enough fruit and focus on that and focus on sticking to this long term to get the benefits out of it. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. I'll have a link to my book down below if you want to learn more about this lifestyle, and I'll see you in the next video.